Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Crafty Chemist Designs. How's everybody doing today? How many of you are watching the Bears-Rams game? Bears are winning 10-7 from my information before I came down here. Let me take a minute to share this to the group. Hi, Julie. And while I'm sharing this to the group, say hi and let me know what you did today. Okay, I shared it to the group. Hi, Dee. How are you? Hi, Diana. Today we're going to have fun with mosaics. I'm so excited about this. Okay, I'm going to tag people, so hold on. I'm almost there. You've been watching football? You watching the Bears game? Go Bears! Okay, I think I tagged everyone. You're taking down your Christmas trees? That's what I did today too. I took down the Christmas tree. Well, truthfully, my tree is still up, but all of the decorations are off and all of the decorations around the house are gone. But I didn't have time to take down the tree and bring it downstairs. I'll probably do that tomorrow. I know my mom likes to look at the tree, so I'll leave it up tonight and take it down tomorrow because I'm not going into work tomorrow due to Martin Luther King Day. So I did spend the day taking down all of the ornaments, taking down all the decorations that were around the house. Oh, and the kids came over this morning. We made Valentine's. I have some aftermath pictures, and Megan took a few pictures while they were here, so I might post those because they were hilarious. Both Monroe and Ellie were using my stamp cut and emboss machines. Ellie had my normal one, and Monroe was using the mini one. Okay, so let's get started so we can go watch the Bears win. Although last time I had a heart attack watching the Bears. My mom says 10-7. Hi, Michelle. Okay, so today we're making this mosaic scrapbook layout. And I usually like to tell my thought process of when I come up with these. When I saw the Lights of Aurora paper in the catalog or the online exclusive, I don't remember. I think this is in the catalog. When I saw these, my breath was taken away. It's all I can say. I really love these. And I knew I wanted to do something with it. And you saw last week we made cards using these. And so So then I wanted to try and come up with a scrapbook layout. Well, these are 6x6 papers, and I know that it's hard to make scrapbook layouts with 6x6 paper, right? They, you know, I mean, what's your options? You can kind of, you know, put it like this around. I don't know. It's kind of hard. I personally find it hard to make scrapbook pages with these. And then especially with this paper, because, you know, you could put something across the top, but they don't really line up, right? They don't go together, like where you can make it like a top border or bottom border. And so then I thought, well, is there a way that I could break it up so that it looks like it's a continuous, you know, sky? And then I was thinking, well, maybe I could cut these into like 2-inch squares and then put them across. And since there's a little bit of space between them, maybe it will look like they're not just two pieces of 6x6 sitting together. And then I was talking with Jean. We were on scrapbooking on Zoom. And she says, oh, I know what you're talking about, a mosaic. And then she showed me about some system. She bought some mosaic system. And so then that got me thinking, well, yeah, I could do the 2x2 squares, but wouldn't it be fun to do these 1x1 squares? So that's kind of how the thought process went, because I feel like these are two different sheets of 6x6 paper, but really I feel like it looks like one continuous piece of paper, right? It looks like it could be a 12x12 paper. So I was really happy with how this turned out. So let's talk a little bit about doing the mosaics. One issue that I had is I actually did have some Aurora pictures from our cruise. When we went to Alaska, you could see the Aurora borealis from the ship. And so I have 4 pictures, but wait, they go like this. But they're both, or they're all landscape. So you have to think about what pictures you're going to use first. I think that if you're going to do a mosaic like this, you probably want to think about what pictures you're going to use, because what I did is I left the space for these to go landscape. But if I had portrait pictures, you know, I could have maybe put one here and one here, and then, you know, done the mosaic around it. So this really has a lot of possibilities depending on what your pictures are. Like you could even do 4x4 pictures, right? You can do, you know, a 4x4 here, 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 and here, and then do mosaic around it. There's so many possibilities. So just kind of keep all of that in mind. Also, you could, if you wanted to, cut your pictures. Like I could have cut these to be mosaic also. So I have seen some mosaic layouts where they cut their pictures to be mosaic also. I didn't do that for this particular layout because I wanted it to be clear what was the paper and what was the actual picture. I kind of felt if I cut this into, you know, mosaic squares, that you might not be able to tell which is the picture and which is the paper. And that is just because of the nature of this paper. If I was doing something that was like, I don't know, I have this sitting right here in front of me, but if I was using like paper that was just like this, and then my pictures, I mean, obviously this is not picture. So that one I potentially could cut my pictures into the mosaic. I hope that makes sense, but I didn't on this one because I wanted to distinguish between the paper and the pictures. But if I was just using, you know, paper that was like flowered or polka dot or whatever, and then my pictures were different or had people in them or whatever, you could mosaic your pictures also. Let me know if anybody has made a mosaic scrapbook layout before. This is a really easy page to do. So the main thing is that you have to stay organized. If you want the picture to stay recognizable, I guess, is what I'm saying. I think this would be a good thing to do with paper like this. You know, this paper that we have that's always got the beautiful watercolor pictures on them, right? You know, you can cut these up into the mosaic. But the thing is that you want, like this would be beautiful, you want to keep it in order so that it still looks like the sunflowers, okay? So you just have to be organized, okay? Another thing, hi Lisa. Another thing is I chose not to put a white paper on top, like have this is Petunia Pop. And I could have made like a 11 by 11 white paper and then put the mosaics on top of that. You can decide to do that too if you want, but I didn't on this one, okay? Okay, so I wanted to show you, this is, like I said, this is the Lights of Aurora 6x6 paper. The colors are Azure Afternoon, Balmy Blue, Basic Black, Berry Burst, Blackberry Bliss, Gorgeous Grape, Highland Heather, Lost Lagoon, Petunia Pop, Pool Party, and Very Vanilla. There are 6 different designs, and you get, I think you get 4 of each one. Yeah, there's 48. So there's 6 design. No, you get 8 of each one because there's 6. Yeah, there's 48 sheets in this pack, and it's still available. Last that I checked. Let me drop a link. Okay, let me see what Julie says here. Oh, cool. Mickey head shape. That would be fun. Did you do the mosaic first and then cut the shape out of it afterwards, or did you do the shape and then try to fit the pieces into that? Because that would be hard. This is really easy. Really, really easy. Okay, here's the papers. I think I'm going to use this one this time. I didn't use this one last time, but look how gorgeous that is. I mean, these are just, like I said, they're breathtaking. I love this one. I think I'm going to use this one. Love this. Maybe it goes like this. Well, I don't know. This one. This is the one I used last time, and then this one. I used these two. And then the backs are very kind of neutral. This would be good for some sky. I love this. So really, really pretty backs. They're just very neutral backs. But what I wanted to show you is, look, these beside each other, if I had just put them beside each other, they would have looked like 2 pieces of 6x6 just glued down beside each other. But I feel like now that I cut it into the mosaic, it does almost look like it, you know, that they go together. You know what I mean? I know that this is pretty big on top. It covers up a lot of the design, but I really liked it. And I've got lights for the other side. So, okay, let's get started. Oh, I was going to drop the links. Let me do that before I start. I'm just getting to the link. I should have had it up before I started. It's taken a little bit of time. Oh goodness, I didn't make a resource for this one. Okay, well, I'll drop a link to the actual paper. I know that the suite is on a last chance, and that includes the die. There are dies that go with this, and the stamp set. But for this one, I only used the paper. Okay, so like I said, I think I'm going to use this one and this one. I might make them go like that so that they're going in the same kind of direction. Okay, so here's a couple things. This paper is 6 by 6. These are cut into 1-inch squares. You really could do it in any, like you could do 2-inch squares if you want to. There's going to be a little bit of difference in the spacing, but there's only 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's 10 by 10 squares. So these are 6 by 6. So there's going to be 1 inch off of each side that I'm not going to use. So I'm probably going to not use this inch and then that inch, because it has the least, whoops, it has the least amount of design. Okay, so let's cut this. So I'm going to cut them into 1-inch pieces. Oh, this is left over from Ellie's Valentine's that she made. She was really good. She was using up all of my scraps. Those little strips were from scraps that I had from the Valentine's, and she made a card out of all my scraps. So okay, so I'm cutting these in 1-inch pieces. Okay, and like I said, I'm only going to use 5 of these strips. So this one I'm going to put to the side over here. And now here's where it's important to, maybe I'll move this, to keep these in order. So I'm going to put these like this to show you what I'm talking about. I feel like my thing is sinking. Okay, so let's start with this one, and now I'm just going to cut them into 1-inch squares going this way. And again, keep them in order. Keep them in order. You can do this same technique with just regular paper, you know, floral paper or rainbow or, you know, whatever you want. But I think it's a really good design for these papers that have a kind of an image. Okay, so now I had the paper going this way. Okay, so this is the top. So when I put it over here, I'm going to make sure I turn them the right direction. So this is what I'm talking about, that you got to be really organized. Okay, let's do this one now. And again, it's on its side, so when I put them back over there, we need to flip them 90 degrees. And then I'm just going to continue doing this. Okay, then I'm being very careful. The one place that I got kind of, not lost, but I was more likely to make a mistake was when I was gluing it on, because I turned it over to put tape on it, and then I'd be like, oh no, which direction? We'll talk about that when we get there. Okay. And you want to try and stay as accurate as you can for the 1-inch squares. Like I'm putting it right, I'm trying to put it like right in the center of that 1-inch mark. So I know some people like to put it like right before the mark or right after the mark. Whatever you do, try and be consistent. Okay, again, I'm putting this down carefully. Strip 4. We use so many stamps today making our Valentines. I got out all my Valentine stamps. And some that weren't actually Valentines, but could be Valentines, like, you know that one set from Close to My Heart that had the cupcake and the ice cream and a latte, and you could do that the spinny thing. We did those. She really liked the donut. There was a donut and a ice cream and a cupcake. Okay, here's the last one of the first piece. And I did do this one 6x6 piece at a time. And this was just to keep things organized, you know. If you're using a 12x12 piece of paper, I would cut it into a 10x10 and, you know, cut the 10 inches that you want, you know, if getting rid of any of the, I mean, maybe it doesn't matter depending on your print, but, you know, get like how I chose to get rid of this little piece. Okay. So, now we're going to put them down. Like I said, I didn't put a piece of white down, but you can if you want to. And I started about, it's a 1/2 inch down and a 1/2 inch over. Okay. That's kind of what I did. 1/2 inch down and 1/2 inch over. And then I tried to do like 1/8 of an inch across. You can see I'm not perfect at it. At first I was going to draw the lines and everything, and then that didn't work because it's not I was starting to draw it every 1 inch, but that's not right because you have to have 1/8 of an inch or so in between. So then I just started kind of winging it. However, if you have one of these where you can line up your, you know, your pieces, I would recommend that. Okay. So let's start. So now, you see how I have these all organized? We're going to be going across the top. So I'm actually going to take my pieces going this way. So I have this is the top. So I'm going to try to keep the top up there. Okay, and keep it in the right direction. Okay. Putting that there, and then I'm going to try and put this one over, and again, keep it how you want. And if you look at this one, I did it basically about a 1/16 of an inch to the right of the 6 inch mark on my Versamat. Okay, so basically almost right up to the 6 inch here. And that way you can spread it out evenly. If you start here, you might not make it even there. And then here I'm going to try it about right there. I'm going to center, let's see, around. That looks a little bit to the left. I didn't push it down too hard because you want this first row to be pretty straight how you want it. This one I think is going to have to go over just a little bit. There you go. So get this first one lined up pretty well, and then then the next ones will be pretty easy. Okay, that's the first row. Hope you can see that pretty good. Yeah, so yesterday Henry came over and lifted up my IKEA shelf, and that's why I was able to take the Christmas stuff down today, because I wasn't able to get into my Christmas closet because the IKEA shelf was laying on, on its side, right in front of the door. So, once he moved that yesterday, then I was able to bring stuff up. Okay, so now this is about, let's see, we're about a little bit lower than 10 and a half. So about 10 and, let's see, what would that be? 10 and 2/8, but 10 and 3/8. So let's do, let's put this one here and see. Okay, so we're going to put it about like that. So about 10 and a half at the top. Okay. And then again, I'm going to right across. If you don't have one of these T-squares, you can just use a ruler, the best that you can. But I really love this, and I'm glad that I got this before Close to My Heart went out of business, because it's one of my favorite things. And I almost didn't get this because I had a T-square that I got off of Amazon. Let me tell you, if you buy a T-square off of Amazon, make sure, I bought a 12-inch one, which I thought would be perfect. However, it has to be longer than 12 inches because it's 12 inches from here to here, and you need the extra space for it to sort of hang over the edge. So kind of keep that in mind. If you buy one, it should at least be 13 inches at the very least. Learn from my mistake. I mean, it still works, but if you're trying to go all the way over to the other edge, maybe I'll show you because I have it right over here. I can get it. Okay, let's do the next row. So here's the one I got from Amazon, which, works fine, but you see how it doesn't go all the way to the end? And the 1 inch starts over here, so the markings don't start in the right place. Okay, let's do this here. Okay, now as you're doing this, you want to think about your pictures, because if you're doing a portrait pictures, let me put this down and then I'll show you. If you're doing portrait pictures, you're going to have to start, leaving room probably like in the next row. Okay, so think about what pictures you're going to use before. Since mine are landscape, I'm going to do five rows, and then my pictures, and then 1 row. So since my pictures are basically 4 by 6, I cut them a little bit, and I'll show you in a minute. But basically 4 by 6, they take up about 4 rows of these 1 by 1 inch squares. Oh, it's cold there, Michelle. Yeah. It was cold here, but I wouldn't say that it was, it's been colder. Let's just put it that way. Okay, let's see. And I'm just taking my time, going across, making sure that I'm keeping them in order. And as I put my tape on, I'm keeping it in the right order. You'll probably be able to tell if you got one of these mixed up, because there'll be like 1 square out of order. If I run out of adhesive today, it's because Ellie used some. I was like, you're like your grandma. I said, you like to use your adhesive. She was really putting a lot of adhesive on her cards. And my table and everything. Okay, one more row. I want to check to make sure that they're gonna line up. Okay, yeah, look how good. It's really good. I wanted my pictures to line up, so. So you're, I'm doing good so far. Okay. I did start to put a few albums on my new shelves. I wasn't going to because I still need to paint and I didn't want to put everything on there, but I couldn't help it. I wanted to see how they fit. So I've got about a third of my albums, but then it got time to do this live, so. Okay, let's see, we're getting there. We're getting there. But like I said, the most important thing is just keeping everything in order. And you could probably use, you know, another one of these to keep the perpendicular things, but I'm just eyeballing it. I'm not taking that much care besides using this going one direction. Okay, so I'm going to skip that. And then let's put one of my pictures down. Now what I found, your pictures are going to be a little bit longer probably because my pictures are 4 by 6, but this is about 5 3/4. So I cut my picture I cut it 5.5 by 4. I left the 4, but I cut it 5.5. So I think I'm gonna cut half off of here. Uh-oh, look what I did. What did I do? I did what I said you shouldn't do. Let's see what this looks like. My hand hid that, so. See what it looks like at the bottom. That way. Let's go that way. Okay, I think it goes like that. I hit that with my hand or something. Be careful. Okay. And then I am going to put okay, so that's pretty good. Okay, so then let's put these down here. And I'm hoping that is going to look okay. There we go. Good thing is that they're by themselves, so if I do have something mixed up, I'll go back and look at the video and change these if I need to. So we're about halfway done. This one looks crooked to me, so I'm going to fix that. Okay. I love the Aurora. Ours were very green. But there weren't any papers that had that much green in it, so. Okay. Okay, now let's do this paper. I know, I taught Ellie very well. She was having a grand old time, let me tell you. She didn't want to leave. Okay, again, we're going to cut these into 1-inch strips. And as I said at the beginning, I'm not going to use that side because there's not that's the side that doesn't have as much color. She also liked to use my trimmer. She liked to cut her paper. I'll post some pictures. I know Meg took some. I just took one of the aftermath because I was just, it took all my effort to just keep up with their demands. Oh, I want to cut this heart. I want the white paper. I want pink paper. Okay, now let's cut this. I remember, keep these in order. I wanted to do a mosaic using that this paper, like this kind of paper. I just didn't have time. It's been very busy. Although yesterday I just decided I wasn't going to build anything, put anything together. So I sat and I crocheted. And I caught up with the hunting party. Has anybody been watching the hunting party? They just dropped like 2 new episodes. So I caught up with that. I'm all caught up. I didn't catch up with Stranger Things, but I wasn't in the mood for Stranger Things yesterday. So I was trying to be chill. And that's definitely not chill. Okay, make sure you don't have those turn like that one almost did. Okay. Okay. I'm going to check on the cub score, the brown score. What the heck am I talking about? The bear score. Looks like it's 10-10. Okay. It is Cubs convention this week. They had a great reunion. Rizzo was there. Grandpa was there. So many there from the World Series teams. The World Series team. But that's getting down there. Was 2016, where it's almost been 10 years. I can't believe that. 10 years since Cubs were world champions. I remember that night like it was yesterday. I watched the game with Michaela. She lived on Waveland? Sheffield. Oh, no, she lived on Sheffield. She lived on Sheffield, which is right at the stadium. The stadium was right beside her apartment. So we watched it there, and when they won, everybody ran out in the streets and was singing, and everybody went to the stadium. But the stadium was closed because it obviously wasn't being played at Wrigley. It was a crazy night. And then I went and found Megan in the city. We just randomly tried to find each other because she was watching it someplace else. Okay, one more, and then we're almost there, guys. this is a really easy layout, but it's just kind of tedious because of all of the, you know, small squares. Like I said, you can make these squares 2 inches. It would work just the same, but you're going to have a little bit different spacing. Okay, now this is where I think the magic happens, because I'm hoping that it's going to make these blend in together like it's one big piece. Which, as I said, that was my goal in doing this mosaic. My goal was to try to make a scrapbook layout using the 6x6 paper without making it look like 6x6 paper. And I think I accomplished that. I'm happy with how it turned out. It's not exact because, I mean, obviously, like, the blues are different, but I really feel like when you just first look at it, it can look like it's one sheet. So again, get this first row how you like it, and then it's easier. I think I'm going to move this one just a little bit if I can. Oh, you hear yelling from time to time. Are they Bears fans? If they're Bears fans and they start going crazy, let me know so I can check the score. Last week when I was watching it, my sister thought I was watching Stranger Things because I was yelling. She didn't know the Bears were playing. She was like, I wondered why you were yelling so much. But that was such a good game. Well, it wasn't good for the Bears like 3/4 of the time, but when it was good, it was really good. Like I said, I almost turned it off at halftime last week. And I'm glad I didn't. And that was on a Saturday, so it didn't interfere with my live. And I had planned this before I knew the Bears were going to be in the playoffs. So sorry, but I didn't want to cancel just because of the Bears. I haven't canceled. I've been in India, Nigeria, and England, and I still tried to come on live if possible. Try to be consistent, so I wasn't going to give up because of the Bears. Because I'm a Bears fan, but I'm much more of a Cubs fan than a Bears fan. So I follow the Cubs more during the season. The Bears I kind of just keep track of, but I don't go to games or anything, or I haven't. The tickets for these games are really expensive. I saw a commercial for a, I don't know, like a ticket vendor or something. And people were saying how much they spent on their ticket. And I was like, wowza. You know, like $1,000. A lot for a game. Okay, but do you see how if you would be doing a portrait pictures, you would have to, you know, think about where you're placing them. Or if you were doing, like I said, 4x4s, or you just have to kind of think about their placement before you do all this. It's not, I mean, it's not too difficult. You don't have to do like formulas or anything, but, or you can do the whole thing mosaic and put your pictures on top. If I did that, I probably would put, I would match your pictures. so you could see them. If you were doing a mosaic on your whole page, if you were doing that, then you would need 10 by 10. So you'd need 100 of these little squares. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I don't know if you noticed, but I did decide to wear my Galaxy. Look at my Galaxy sweatshirt. It's a sweatsuit. I got the pants that match. It's a Lula suit, a LuLaRoe suit, but I call it my Galaxy suit. I thought it matched pretty well. You live in Grays Lake? Did we talk about that before? Because I'm kind of by 45 and Grand. So pretty close to you. Okay, so again, I'm going to cut this at 5.5. One of the things, Anne, that we were talking earlier, I bought a IKEA shelf, because right now I've got all of my scrapbooks on a big table in my craft area down here. But once I get that off, I'm going to be able to maybe have classes here, at least some get-togethers or something. So keep an eye out, because you could come over and scrapbook or card making with me. Okay, the last row. I think I did pretty good keeping these in order, but it's kind of hard to pay really close attention as I'm talking and trying to do this on the camera, but we'll see if anything looks out of place. And I will go back and watch the live. I usually try and go back and watch it when I download it and upload it to YouTube. I upload all of these to YouTube because, Facebook has started deleting lives after 30 days. And so if I want to save these, I have to upload it to YouTube. I'm thinking about trying to figure out how to go live on YouTube and then dropping the link onto Facebook, because I think that would be easier. Then I wouldn't have to, because afterwards I have to spend time downloading the video and then uploading it and doing all that. Oh, you live by CLC? Yeah, like I said, I live right by 45, a little bit north. We go over to Bill's Pub there sometimes. Okay, so I got Northern. And what did I do with my lights? Oh, here we go. I cut this out on the Cricut. Because I wanted to say Northern Lights. I am thinking about, well, before we do that, let's take a full appreciation of this. I think it's looking pretty good. And once I put this on here, I really think it will look like one big piece. Okay. Okay, and let's see. The last thing is I did add these little sequins because I had these are the purple adhesive backed sequins. And so I thought they went really well with this. And so let's just put some of these on here. I don't think it says what colors are on here, but it's like Petunia Pop, Bubble Bath. This is white, I think, and this is probably a different pink, but I don't know. So I'll just put a few of these, and I'll put an odd number. I'll put 3 here. Here I think I put 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I put 5. I put 3 here. But like I said, I think I might cut out a tab and put Alaska 2024. Although I might have to look up where we were, because I might put down like Ketchikan, or I don't remember exactly. Mom, do you remember where we were? What part of Alaska? I don't remember. But I'll go back and look at the photos, because that usually geolocates. Yeah, I think this is a wow layout. Wow, wow, wow. And like I said, I was wowed by this paper. This paper just, I find very amazing. But I think this would work just as well with some of these. Like I could see something like this, really pretty page with some, you know, garden pictures or something. You know, this would be pretty up at the top. You could really do a beautiful sky. I might do like a beautiful sky and that up here, and then do these down here and put my pictures across the middle. I didn't want to break up the lights too much. That's why I did 5 and then 1. I could have done 4 and then 2, but then you kind of would have lost the, you know, the Aurora. Diana, you've been to Bill's Pub? When have you been down here to Bill's Pub? Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so that's this week's layout. I'm checking on the score here. Looks like it's still 10-10. Oh, your brother lives in Lindenhurst. Did I know that? My mom used to work at the Lindenhurst Surgery Center. And I go quilting, the Quilters Guild, and then we used to meet in Lindenhurst, Antioch, kind of Lindenhurst, Antioch. I go down Grand to where that Lindenhurst Surgery Center is, and then turn on, I don't know, Grass Lake Road, maybe. So if anybody, and if you're a quilter, you should join our quilting guild. Okay, next week we have a fun thing. Next week we are going to be making these Victorian Valentine, what do I call them? Victorian purse Valentine. I thought these were fun. Aren't these fun? So, yeah, we're going to be making these next week. They're kind of like those little fortune tellers that we used to make in school. Did you used to make those little, like, does he love you, yes or no, or, you know, whatever stupid things we would make. Here's another one. This was my sample, my first attempt. Well, I got a little bit better. But this is what we're going to be making next week. They're so much fun, and I thought the kids would like these. Oh, geez, this one's not coming. There we go. I really love these. So this is what we're going to make next week. I just thought they were fun. Your knitting scrapbook, that's expensive enough. Yeah, I know. I know. That's what I don't knit. I tried to learn to knit, but I went to a class at Michael's, and that lady, she just sat there and knit in front of us, and said what she was doing, and I didn't learn that way, so I can't knit, but I can crochet. I'm working on a sweater right now, and that's what I did all day yesterday, is I just chilled, crocheted, watched The Hunting Party. Oh, and I also watched Agatha Christie's Seven Dials, you know, the new release. It's got Martin Freeman. Is his name Martin Freeman? That was good. Although I don't think I'm going to get the sweater done by Megan's birthday, which is the 21st. I had to pull out about 20 rows because I didn't realize I needed to make a gap for a pocket. So I had to go all the way back down to the pocket. So, okay, well, I'm going to go try and catch the end of the Bears game. I know this was kind of a short live because it was pretty easy. If you do a mosaic layout, please post it in the group. The Crafty Chemist presents Stampin' Up. I'd love to see what you do it, especially if it's, you know, with different papers. It really shows the versatility of the idea. And then if you did your One Sheet Wonder Valentines, post those so we can see those too. I gave Ellie all of my Valentines for her school, for her class or whatever. So okay, I'll see you guys next week, and bear down. Go Bears. Bye.